Welcome to Do You Know Your Algebra, where every week we teach and test 3 lovely contestants on their knowledge of algebra.
This week's topic is writing equations in point-slope form. Here's how the game works. We will work 2 problems with you and then let you try one. You will match your answers with one of the 2 opponents at the end of the round.
If you get the answer correct, add 1,000 points to your score. But if you get the question wrong, you'll have to deduct 500 points from that. At the end of the game, tally up how many points you have and see how you pile up against your competition. Let's get started.
Straight in by identifying the variables in a point-slope formula.
This is the point-slope formula. You will need to point the line that passes through and the slope in order to plug in your variables. y1 is your y of your xy coordinate. x1 is your x of your xy coordinate. Let's try a few practice problems. Okay. Your m is going to be your slope of your problem. Now let's try a few practice problems. First, you want to plug in your m, which is 2, into the m in your formula. So let's write down our formula. It's always going to be y minus y1 is equal to m parentheses x minus x1. So your m will go here. So in that case, that'll be 2. Next, you need to plug in your x of your xy intercept, which is 2, in where it says x1. So it's not going to be a negative because you see the minus right here. So that means, it's going to be a negative because the equation has a negative in it right here. And so it's going to be negative 2 minus x, and then we said that m is our 2, so it's our 2, and so now we need to find our y1. So finally you need to plug in your y of your xy intercept, which is 1, where it says y1. This will also be a negative because y1 has a negative in front of it right here. So you're going to plug in this for that, and then it's going to be y minus 1. So this is going to be your final equation.
Okay, so we know that y minus y1 is equal to mx minus x1 is our point-slope equation. So to put this into the equation, we have to take the m, which is negative 1, and put it right here. And then we take the 5, which is the y, right here. So it's like y minus 5. And then we want to take the 3, which is the x, and put it over here. So it's x minus 3. And that would make our equation look like y minus 5 is equal to negative 1 x minus 3. And that will be your final equation. Now it's time for you to do one. Please pause the video, and once you're finished solving the problem, press play.
I don't know what my Spanish is.
Welcome back. Time to see if you know your algebra. The correct answer was y minus 2 equals 4x. Because x is 0, you don't have to bother writing it in because it has no value.
Our next round is how to identify values in a point-slope equation. Let's start with 2 practice equations. Ready?
Okay. Here's our practice equation. We're just going backwards from what we did last round. Let's identify our slope. Your slope is always in the front of the parentheses. In this case, our slope is negative 6. So it's going to be right here, and that is always going to be your slope. Okay. Next, let's identify our x of our coordinate. This will always be the last number of our equation inside the parentheses, just in this case, that'll be 3. So you see it's negative, but last time we converted it into a negative because in front of the x1 there was a negative, so this is actually 3. So that goes at the beginning of our slope, but we still have to identify our y in our slope. And so how you do that is your y will always be on the immediate left side of your equals equation. So that will be, in this case, 1. And remember, it's not a negative because the negative is already placed there. So this will be that, and then m is equal to -6. So your final answer will be m equals -6 and 3, 1 as your coordinate.
Let's start off with identifying our m value. Our m value is always the number before the x minus x1. In this case, it would be 3/5. Our x coordinate would be 0, and our y coordinate would be -6, because when you see that there's an addition sign, you know it had to have been negative for it to flip. So your answer should be m is equal to 3/5, 0, -6.
Now you try one. Please pause the video, and as soon as you're done, start back up and see if you got it correct. Welcome back. Time to see if you know your algebra. The correct answer was 9, 4 as your coordinate and m equals 2/3 as your slope.
Now it's time for a double or nothing round. In this round, if you get a question correct, then you get 2,000 points. If you get it wrong, you don't lose any. Let's get started. The last and final round is a speed round to see if you really do know your algebra.
Your first equation is 7, 4 is your Okay. Your first equation is 7, -4 is your coordinate, and m equals -6. Now put it in point slope form. Did you get y plus 4 equals -6, x minus 7? Good job. Now to the next problem.
Our next problem is y minus 10 is equal to -8 of parentheses x plus 1/4. Find the coordinates of the slope, and the slope. Did you get -1/4, 10, m equals -8 as your answer? Good job.
Your final equation is 8, -7 as your coordinate, and m equals -5 as your slope. Please put this in a point slope form. Your final answer is going to be y plus 7 equals -5 times x minus 8. Good job. That's it for the speed rounds. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Do You Know Your Algebra?
Make sure to tune in to next week.